It is almost time for one of my favorite things of the year, which is a challenge to write 50,000 words in a month. However, even though I'm going to still participate in that challenge, it's going to look very different this year because it truly is the end of an era. In this video, we're going to just have a casual chat about how it's changing, why it's changing, and the good stuff is that I'm going to invite you to a brand new challenge starting for this November, and I hope you'll join me. So let's get started. Welcome back to Heart Breathings. Oh man, this has been a video that I have been thinking about making for a while, and I actually did already make a statement inside the Heart Breathings writing community, so some of you may already know some of this. But in order to talk about Preptober and National Novel Writing Month coming up in November, we kind of have to address the elephant in the room, which is truly the end of an era. That NaNoWriMo, which is an actual organization called National Novel Writing Month, is undergoing some rough times, shall we say. There have been just compounding issues that have been going on for at least the last year, if not really a couple of years. And I think for a lot of us, it's just gotten to a point where the drama and the problems and the issues are starting to overshadow the benefit of the group itself. And so we're going to talk about it a little bit here today. But if you are new to my channel, you may not know this, but for everybody who's been around for a while, you know that I try to keep things as positive and upbeat here and as drama-free as possible. So we're not going to go deep into the actual tea or drama about it. But if you are interested in knowing more about the facts, I'm sure that you can find them by deep diving into Reddit threads and nano forums and all kinds of stuff. If you weren't aware that there's any drama going on with Nano, then, this might be a little bit eye-opening to you, but I've got to address it before we can move on, because one of the absolute truths is that NaNoWriMo has been a big part of my writing journey and my life for something like 17 years. And I have very loudly and proudly talked about this event, encouraged people to join this event. And at its core, it was created to be a group of friends coming together, or a community of people coming together to actually get out of our own heads, stop the internal editing, and just get as many words on the page as quickly as possible so that you could stop doubting yourself and just write. And at its core and at its essence, that is what NaNoWriMo, or National Novel Writing Month, was really supposed to be about. And sometimes I think what happens is just over time, things go in different directions. And sometimes the bigger an organization gets, the more challenging it is to manage it. So I don't, again, want to focus too much on exactly what went wrong, but I do feel that I probably should address some of this and talk and come clean as to why I didn't address this last year. But this is going to be a short part of the video. If you don't want to hear this part, then there are chapters that you can click through to find out about our new event. But let's go over some of the tea. So like I said, I have participated in this event, and NaNoWriMo, as many of you know, has been November challenge to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And it's been going on for 20 or plus years. I've been participating for about 17 years, and I've been on the writers board. I have participated in Camp Nano every year in April and July, and also in the big event pretty much every year for more than a decade. And I have loved it. And I'm truly still so grateful for all that has done for my life and all the friends that have come into my life because of it. However, unfortunately, that's why it feels like it's the end of an era, because there comes a point where the issues with an organization begin to overshadow the event and the purpose of the event itself. And if more of the conversation becomes around the problems and the drama and the arguing within an event, or things that are truly problematic, the less attention we all have to spend on our writing. And really, the whole point of the event is to focus 100% on your writing and the writing community and all the support that it offers. So when the event, especially last year, started to get overshadowed by some accusations on the forums for the Young Writers Program, it really started to concern me. Now, again, I'm not going to go deep into it, but we'll just say the heart of the issue was that I believe sometime earlier in 2023, there were some accusations made of some inappropriate conduct by a moderator on the forums for the Young Writers Program, that they were inviting people off the site to join them on a website that is for adults only. And I heard about this in November of last year when I was recording daily vlogs, and I had a lot of internal anguish, I guess, about whether to bring it up in my community because it felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing daily vlogs. Should I discuss this? So I spent some time going onto forums trying to find the truth. And in the end, I started to realize that the point of doing the daily vlogs, the point of participating in Nano and being a leader in the community is to focus on my writing, not on any kind of external negativity or drama. And it was very difficult for me to go into the forums and find the truth and find receipts and find out all of the information. And it was super distracting. And so I made the decision, right or wrong, last year not to address it because I thought I don't want to be the person who is bringing something to a community of tens of thousands of people when it may or may not be true. And at the very least, it will absolutely be distracting and it will take away from the event. So I made that choice. However, I also made the choice that I was not going to call this year's event for myself the NaNoWriMo Diaries because I knew by the time we came around to this November that there would be a lot of people who no longer wanted to be associated with NaNoWriMo. But I had not had a chance to really announce that or talk about it since we were not yet to Preptober. And then NaNoWriMo created a statement that they put out publicly that seemed to be very pro AI. And a lot of people had a lot of problems with that because we are, after all, artists and AI is very scary. And this is not me judging anyone who uses or doesn't use AI, but it's just me saying it is a controversial topic that has split the community and created more argument than focus on our writing. And so it was at that point that I started seeing a lot of people saying they're deleting their accounts, that they're not using NaNoWriMo anymore. And I don't know that I'll delete my account, but I will be asking them to remove my name from the writer's board. And I also will just be dissociating myself from the actual event because, like I said earlier, the spirit of the event is not about management and forums and drama and arguing and polarizing topics. The whole point was to bring us all together and get us out of internal editor mode and just focus on creation. And that's really what I want to do. And my whole point behind doing the NaNoWriMo Diaries, which is basically daily vlogs throughout the month of November, was to share my journey. So, number one, you could see that even being an author who's sold over 1 million books does not mean that the writing comes easy or that you don't ever doubt yourself. And it hopefully is relatable content, even though sometimes it is difficult to share. But it's also to just share the journey so that we have this shared experience, no matter if it's your first time writing a novel or your 50th time writing a novel. But it's just, how do you balance your family, your mental health, your self doubts about your writing? How do you plot fast enough? How do you get out of your own head with all the doubt and start getting stories on the page? How do you really work on your characters? How do you make time for your writing? That's the point and the focus of it. And that really is a big part of the focus of my entire channel. And I really want for it to stay positive, uplifting, relatable, shared experience. And unfortunately, NaNoWriMo can no longer do that for me. So this is me saying, if you choose to continue to participate in the official NaNoWriMo website, I fully support you. I love you. Great, do your thing. If you no longer want to associate with NaNoWriMo, then you are also welcome here. And this will be a great place that whether you are or you aren't, hopefully we can still come together and share this experience. And it's going to just be called something different, but there were already thousands of people out there in the world who were participating in a 30-day writing challenge who weren't actually using the NaNoWriMo website. I personally don't even use the forums, so that was very separated from me anyway. I mostly stick to our little community. So in truth, it won't be changing all that much, but it will be changing in name. Now, how is it going to, that's like the why it's changing. how is it going to look different? So, we're going to talk about the new event, but one major change is, of course, that the name will be changing. I will no longer use the term NaNoWriMo Diaries, but I am still going to create for you the typical Preptober workbook, and it will still be free and it will be sent out to all my newsletter subscribers. I will leave a link down below in the description for anybody who's not on my newsletter list that wants to get in there. So you'll be one of the first to get that when it comes out. It should be coming out next week or the week after. It will be out before October. And we're going to do a fun flip through and everything of it. I try to make it a little bit better every year. So if you've had any suggestions over the past year that you've thought, oh, I've been using this, but it would be great if it had XYZ, go ahead and leave those in there now because I'm going to be working on that over the next week. And I always want to make it better as a resource for all of you. So let me know that feedback. Also, it's going to be changing in terms of 50K in a month because I think that if we're going to start a new event, why not make it truly more accessible to everyone and try to eliminate some of the things that we've all been complaining about with NaNoWriMo in the first place. So, with all that being said, let me invite you to join me for the Rough Draft Challenge. So, the Rough Draft Challenge for Heart Breathings is going to be another challenge to basically write your rough draft and take yourself out of the overthinking editing mode to join in community, join us in sprints, and write as much as you can over the course of a month. However, it does not have to be 50,000 words, and it doesn't have to be in the month of November. We are going to do it in the month of November, but we will also be doing it throughout different months of the year next year as well. So let's get into the new rules of the Heart Breathings Rough Draft Challenge. Okay, number one, this will not be tied to the month of November. I had already announced this and mentioned it in my Heart Breathings writing community, which is our Facebook group and our sprinting community with various YouTube channels and amazing sprinters and admins here on YouTube. And we had already started some discussions about what do we call this new event. And I thought it was really good because somebody said NaNoWriMo, which I thought was really funny because this Heart Breathings community is really founded on let's try to keep it drama free and polarizing topic free and just focus on our writing. But I also don't want it to address the drama at all. Like, let's move forward and create something that we can all relate to. And I figure at some point, we're all writing rough drafts. And in its essence, there are times for edits, and there are times for many of us where we just need to get messy and we need to just get words on the page. So I wanted to use that idea of rough draft. I also wanted to not put necessarily a restriction that it had to be done in a month. So I didn't want to put the word month in there, and I didn't want to put the word November in there. So one of the first rules, I guess, new paradigm of the Rough Draft Challenge is it's not tied to November. If I had a choice, I would put it in March. So right now, the hope is that we will also do another version of this in March. Now, we will be also at the time running my Publish and Thrive course. So I'm not sure March is 100% on the table. So I'll just call this an intention and a thought, but we can talk about this more throughout the month of November. The first iteration of the Rough Draft Challenge will still take place in the month of November, but we might do it multiple times throughout the year. And the workbook that I'm going to give you will be something that you can use anytime you're writing a rough draft. So let's talk about word count. Number two, we're not going to require you to write 50,000 words to win the Heart Breathings Rough Draft Challenge. So here's what we're going to do instead. And I need your help in naming these. So get your typing fingers ready, start thinking, help me come up with this. So I want to do multiple tiers or levels because I've always felt like for some people, 50,000 words is just stressful burnout waiting to happen. Because if you have a full-time job, if you have a newborn, if you have a parent that you're taking care of, if you have lots of responsibilities or chronic illness or pain in your fingers, there are 1,000 different scenarios where writing 1,300 words a day is just impossible. And I think sometimes pushes people past what is their healthy limit in order to hit that challenge. And while many of us are inspired by a challenge, for me, it's more fun if it's a challenge that's a little bit out of reach that you do have to focus on and dedicate yourself to, but that it is actually achievable in a way that feels good to both your body and your mental health. And so, why not create different tiers of goals and badges? So, we're going to have 4 tiers of winners in the Heart Breathing's Rough Draft Challenge. First tier is 10K. I was originally thinking that we would call this the short story tier, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. 25K is the second tier, which I had thought about calling the novella tier. 50K, if you still want to keep that 50K in 30 days, or if we do it in March, 31 days. Then you've got the 50K challenge, which I was going to call the novel challenge. And then for the overachievers in the group, 100K challenge, which I was going to call the epic novel challenge. However, when I started to walk through it in my head, I started to realize that it might be confusing for some people to think, okay, so if I do the 10K tier, I have to be writing an actual short story. And that's not really the intention. I want you to be able to write 10,000 words of whatever it is you want. It can be a novel, but it's just the beginning of a novel. It could be a short story. It could be 12 short stories. I just want you to have that freedom. And so I don't want the title of the tier to be attached to a specific kind of book or format. So what else can we call it? We could call it the like mini challenge. I don't want to call it like small, medium, large or anything like that. So help me come up with some names. I'm going to be brainstorming, and this will be, just as all new events are, a little bit of experimentation to see how we're going to do it. And I am excited for it. So we've got 10K, 25K, 50K, and 100K. And you will have a place where you can declare your goal. But let's say you set the 50K goal and then you get the flu or something happens and you only hit 12,000 words, you will still earn the 10K badge, even though you had a goal to go higher. And we're going to give you some goodies and some freebies for winning each tier, depending on where you end up. So let me know what you think of those numbers. And I think in some ways, like with Camp NaNoWriMo, you could always set your own goal. And while that is cool, I do think in some ways it's better for some people to have an official goal to go after, because just setting your own arbitrary goal feels like, well, I can change it, I can move it around. It doesn't feel as urgent. But when you say I'm heading for that 25K goal and that feels achievable, but it feels interesting and a little bit challenging for me, it's just more official. Sometimes that feels a little bit more motivational. So those are the 4 tiers. We just got to name them. Okay, number 3 is there will still be daily vlogs, and these will be called, instead of the NaNoWriMo diaries, the Rough Draft diaries. And again, this gives me a chance to potentially do this type of rough draft vlogging anytime throughout the year and not tied specifically to a November event. And it also means that you, as the viewer, don't actually have to participate in my official event. I have noticed that with the scramble of National Novel Writing Month is kind of over for a lot of people at this point. There's probably going to be many authors and websites and other people and groups, sometimes ML groups, local groups, are going to be coming up with your own events. So there's absolutely no pressure to participate in my event specifically, but you can still enjoy the Rough Draft diaries no matter whose events, when, or where you're participating. So I want to make it as inclusive and fun for everybody as possible. So you can participate in both the official event for Heart Breathings or just the vlogs, or both of them at the same time, and anyone else's event that you want to do. And let's just keep our focus on writing great books and being in community with each other. This year for the Rough Draft Diaries, I'm going to put less pressure on myself to have to vlog every single day. So you will probably see more things that are like days 3 through 5 and not having to have a video every single day. But I will keep you updated on the community tab when there won't be a video update that particular day, so that you can know. Because I know there are some of you that wait for it to go up every day as your reward for your writing challenge. So we're going to play it by ear and we're going to see how it goes. But I also want to give myself a little bit more leeway to not have a vlog every single day. What we might do is, if there's not a vlog, I may go live instead for just a quick update, or just have a video where I'm sitting in the chair giving you my update instead of having to record and edit, because it is quite a challenge in and of itself to both write the 50,000 words and to record all that content, find the music, get it all done. But I have to say, I also really love it. It's one of my favorite things to do every year. So I might surprise myself and still do daily vlogs, but we're going to play it by ear. And I'm just giving myself that permission to skip a few days if needed. Number 4 is we're still going to be in community with each other because I feel like at its core, that was the best part of NaNoWriMo anyway. And I've talked about this for years, that just the community of writers, that collective focus, that we're in this together kind of feeling is really the most magical part of it all for me. So I want to create a space for you here at Heart Breathings to do that. So you're going to have multiple places and you can choose where you want to sort of congregate and hang out. So one is we have a Facebook group. It's called the Heart Breathings Writing Community. We have about 7,500 authors in there, and you are all welcome to join that group as well. It is no self promotion, only positive posts, and it's really, really a great group of authors. Then I also have a Discord server. It is called Sarra Cannon's Coven because it is focused more on my witchy books and my readers, but we have a section called Hardy's Hangout. And I have created a channel called the Rough Draft Challenge or the Rough Draft Diaries. I can't remember which one. And we already have people that have been talking in there because it used to be called the NaNoWriMo channel. So you're welcome to come join us there. All of these links will be down below. And of course, you will have the comments here as well. And there's more. So let's keep talking about it because it's going to come into the next point. But before I move on to the final piece of the Heart Breathings Writing Challenge, I do want to mention that within the Heart Breathings Writing community, we are already doing daily writing sprints. So we have about 10 or so admins is what I call them, but really they're just friends. So these are fellow authors here on YouTube who have just been selflessly giving of their time, some of them for years, to run writing sprints as part of the Heart Breathings Writing community. And I absolutely adore these ladies that are running these sprints. And I would love for you to go join their channels, subscribe to them, participate. We have a Google Calendar and a website page that lists out all the sprints. Now, one fun thing is before the Rough Draft Challenge begins in November, my website at heartbreathings.com will be totally brand new. It's already designed. I'm just finishing up the copy with Carrie Loves Design. And so we will have a brand new page for the Heart Breathings Writing community. You can subscribe already to our Google Calendar. I will leave a link to the Heart Breathings Writing community page, but it's a little bit of a clunky website page right now. But it has a Google Calendar that you can add with the little plus sign to your own calendar. And then you can see same time every day there's sprints going on. We also have special events like Double Down Day is the first Saturday of every month. We have a quarterly virtual writing retreat, which is just all day writing sprints. And if you go to any of these channels that do the writing sprints for the community, you can watch the replays at any time. I also am going to be creating some Write With Me videos that you can play and replay that will have some nice music for anybody that likes to write with music. And we're going to do a Rough Draft Challenge kickoff on November 1st, where I'm going to be inviting some of these admins onto my channel with me. And we're going to have a kickoff event where we're going to try to write and we're going to be giving away prizes, and it's going to be super fun. So lots of community to come, both here on YouTube, on the Discord channel, in the Facebook group, and in my newsletter, which if you haven't joined that yet, that's how you're going to get the free Preptober workbook. So make sure you sign up for all those links down below. Okay, final bit of news that goes along with the Rough Draft Challenge happening this November for the first time is that my husband, George, who I adore, who is my partner in every way, is going to create for us what might be a rough start, but an actual website where you will be able to enter your daily word count and keep track of your word count. Now, this is not by any means going to be as fancy and big of a thing as the NaNoWriMo website is, where you get charts and all kinds of things. So if you're looking for something with more charts, I highly recommend you check out pacemaker.press because they do have a free version where you can track your word count very similar to the way that you were doing with NaNoWriMo. With the Heart Breathing site, this is going to be something he's going to have to create in like 30 days. So it's basically going to just be a portal where you can put in your email address or something like that, a sign in of some some kind, and your daily word count update. And it will update a spreadsheet with where your word count is and how far you are from your goals. And it will also keep track of whether or not you have earned that badge. And then I will be sending out some special goodies and some freebies, which I haven't fully decided what they're going to be yet. So if you have suggestions on that too, like what you would like to receive, obviously it needs to be something affordable that I could send out to potentially 1,000 people, but it's probably going to be some kind of digital badge. Another thing that George created for me some years ago is a word count tracker that you can post to your blog or your website or some of your social medias that is going to be free for you all to use as well. If you want to display like on your sidebar on your website, or you want to take a screenshot of it and put it up on Instagram every day or in your stories. And I will share that with you as we move into Preptober. But we're going to be creating a website. I actually reached out to a designer today who is creating a logo for the Rough Draft Challenge and the Rough Draft Diaries. So lots of fun things to come. And, change is never easy. We all wish that things could stay the same, especially when it comes to a resource that has been pivotal in your life or your success in the past. We all want that. However, I think that it can be difficult when something has disappointed you or has changed to a point where it just doesn't feel like it aligns with who you are, where you're going anymore. And like I said, no judgment if you want to keep doing NaNoWriMo, but for me, it just no longer is the right organization for me to be associated with. And so I'm just going to extend my gratitude to all the people and to the organization for being there when I needed it. And here's to an exciting future of new beginnings and positive feedback and just support and community here at Heart Breathings or wherever it is you choose to do your writing challenge. So that is the update for today. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you understand and are in it 100% for me. If you are going to participate in the Rough Draft Challenge with us at whatever tier is achievable and feels accessible to you, then go ahead and leave a heart emoji down in the comments. If you're new here, I would love for you to join us at Heart Breathings. We have such a supportive community and I think you're really going to love it. So hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and be on the lookout for more news and your Preptober planner coming soon, as well as an announcement from me about the pre-order of my upcoming book, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, which will be out before the Rough Draft Challenge begins. So all right, you all, I love you so much. Thank you again to all our admins in the Heart Breathings writing community, and I'll post all those links for you down below. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.